morning. Welcome to Markets Media Video. I'm Terry Flanagan, Markets Media Editor. Markets Media recently concluded the 2020 Markets Choice Awards. Instinet was a sponsor of the Markets Choice Awards, and the Instinet Positive Change Award were featured in the MCA programs. Following up from this year's awards, Markets Media is spotlighting charities Instinet partners with, particularly with regards to COVID-19 relief efforts. Today, we're pleased to have on the program Open Doors Shelter based in Norwalk, Connecticut. We are joined by Michelle Condorino, who's Executive Director, and Yolanda Mateo, Director of Client Services at Open Doors. Ladies, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate being here, and we really appreciate this opportunity from Markets Media and Instinet.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity.
Throw it out there as an open-ended question. What is Open Doors? What are you all about? What does the organization do?
Yeah, well, thank you so much. Open Doors is a housing and a homeless service organization. We provide shelter to those who do not have a place to sleep. We serve both individuals and families. We are the only shelter in Norwalk. We also have a large portfolio of affordable housing units. Our main goal is to ensure that people find quick, sustainable housing options for themselves so that they limit the amount of time they're experiencing homelessness and do not ever return to homelessness.
And you're based in Norwalk. What is the region that is it only the Norwalk the metro area specifically, or is it a broader region that you work in?
So we serve the greater Norwalk area. So primarily our services are available here in the city of Norwalk. As the majority of other services are in Norwalk, people tend to move to Norwalk when they are in need. But we also provide services to our surrounding towns, including New Canaan, Darien, Westport. We are also part of a county-wide collaborative of homeless and housing service organizations that look to address the homeless housing needs of anybody in Fairfield County.
Okay, and certainly 2020 has been a unusual year, a very challenging year. I'm wondering, what have you seen in terms of the work you need to do, and how has Open Doors responded specifically to the COVID-19 crisis?
So for Open Doors and for homeless providers, the COVID crisis really began for us in March, early March. We began evaluating the fact that our shelters were not able to provide social distancing. We did a lot of advocacy with the state, and the state began a process called shelter decompression. This included in mid-March moving our individuals who were over the age of 60 into hotels. And we did that. We moved 6 of our individuals in, I would say, mid-March. Then at the beginning of April 6th, we moved 27 more of our individuals into the hotels. And this was double occupancy into the hotels, but it provided us the opportunity to create social distance. That left us with our families still in shelter here. We have 6 families in shelter. At that time, we had 8 individuals. We now have 10. But they're able to have the social distancing within the building to do that. We are in the process now of Hotel to Home, which is a campaign to ensure that everybody who is in the hotel does not return to shelter and in fact find sustainable housing opportunities. So we are working very hard. We have about 20 of our individuals and families identified for opportunities to move forward in housing, and we're working on the remaining 17. And actually, we're going to try to get every single person who's in the shelter as well out and moving forward. This process really requires us to use every resource that we have, every network that we have, so that way we're able to connect people to housing apartments, rooms, connecting them maybe back with family and friends, whatever opportunity is going to see them safely housed and with the long-term solution. And we are trying to create internally our environment, like revamp our environment here, so that way we can promise and commit to social distancing in the building, creating safer housing opportunities for people while they stay with us here in shelter. We know that this is probably going to continue probably for the next year. So we want to ensure that all of our spaces, people feel safe when they stay with us.
COVID-19 crisis, the state started shelter decompression, which allowed us to move. At first, it was our 60 and over population into a hotel, putting them in rooms, two people per room. And then we did most of our other clients in a different hotel, same concept, 2 clients per room. And we kept about 8 to 10 people in the shelter who we felt wouldn't do well in the hotel for various reasons and would do better, you know, here with the staffing that we have. We have also managed to staff the shelter and the hotel 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we're doing this hotel to home campaign. So our goal is to house as many people as we can by June 15th. So that way the clients that are in the hotel do not have to come back to shelter and will go to their own homes.
And have you seen any reduction in demand for your services, say over the past couple weeks or so? Because just on the basis that things seem to be reopening up gradually, the peak might have been somewhere March or early April. Just wondering if you're still seeing very high demand, or if there's been any leveling off of that.
We are still seeing a high demand. I'm getting calls daily for people that need shelter. So yes, that demand is still very high.
So while the beginning of this and it feels like the peak of the pandemic has passed us, the impact of that pandemic has not quite hit yet. And that is because evictions have been prevented up until this point. Utility shutoffs have been prevented up until this point. When those reopen, we are expecting to see what we would consider our primary wave of people in need of our services. So while our need has not decreased since we began, since early March, we are anticipating our biggest rise to come either this summer or into early fall, of people who've been through the process, are looking either for help staying where they are living, maybe some rent arrearages, utility arrearages, or are in fact in need of shelter. And then our goal will be to rapidly move them back into housing to prevent them from falling into this cycle.
Okay. Okay. If you can talk a little bit about your partnership with Instinet, how did that come about, and what do you two working together maybe accomplish that individual organization working by themselves wouldn't be able to?
I think if the COVID pandemic has taught us anything, it's that our relationships are the most important thing to us. We cannot get through this on our own as individuals, but certainly not as organizations. We were very fortunate to have an existing relationship with Sean Conk, who is in senior leadership at Instinet. And we just began using those partnerships. How can we work together to provide and not only shelter to people, housing opportunities to people, but food to people. So we are a primary source of food for those in Norwalk. We have a served meal program and a pantry, which have both seen tremendous demand since this began. And Instinet has been a really wonderful partner to us in meeting those needs and providing support to us when we were, suddenly seeing these increases in need, providing food and providing the support for our organization.
Okay. Okay, and just if we can spin it forward a little bit, what is your vision for the future of Open Doors? Not only say through the duration of the COVID-19, but longer term, where do you see the organization?
Open Doors has a 37-year history in the greater Norwalk area. We have been the primary resource for those who have experienced homelessness or are at risk of homelessness. Our goal moving forward is to just fine-tune the services that we provide, rapidly addressing the needs of those who are experiencing homelessness. We've been adding employment services to our toolbox, I guess you'll say, of fighting homelessness and ensuring that people have the income necessary to be able to maintain rents once they leave us. So our future is really increasing our employment services. Our future is in increasing the amount of affordable housing that we provide and connecting people to the available housing that is in the Norwalk area and the greater Norwalk area. Recognizing that a lot of people who come to us may not have been from Norwalk originally, they may have been from some of our surrounding towns, and ensuring that they can return to those towns. So just creating really strong relationships with people who have rents in those areas and providing the support to people once they're in. So our services do not stop when someone leaves shelter. We often provide post-shelter case management to help people maintain in their housing, particularly in the first year or 2 years, to ensure that they do not return to homelessness. So those are the areas that we really see ourselves growing in, making sure that we're addressing all of those barriers and keeping people housed. Sustainable housing is our goal. We don't want to see people move into short-term housing solutions, but into long-term housing solutions. And we've seen some real success with that. And our goal is to just, keep improving our services so that way people stay where they go, or they move up, or they, can move, the way the majority of us move through opportunities, but that they get the same opportunities as everyone else.
Speaking with Michelle Condorino, Executive Director of Open Doors Shelter, and Yolanda Mateo, Director of Client Services at Open Doors. Ladies, thank you very much for coming on and telling us a little bit about Open Doors Shelter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.